everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am here once again after many weeks, I know, but I've just been so busy recently, but I finally have time to sit down and do a 24-hour readathon, which I think is going to be really fun. I feel like I haven't done one in so long, so I'm very excited to get into this one. We're going to be starting in just about 8 minutes at 12, but I thought I would really quickly talk you guys through the TBR that I have picked out for today's video and my next 24 hours of reading, and we'll just see what ones we're able to get to. Just a disclaimer, there is a book and a potential another book in here that are from some problematic authors, and I just wanted to, you know, disclaim that I don't support the authors at all, and I have either owned these books for years and years, or I am buying any, you know, if I'm already reading a series or books from an author that's problematic, I'm buying them secondhand now. So I just wanted to preface that, you know, if you see any problematic authors, 9 times out of 10 I am aware, and I'm not supporting them. I'm just, you know, either revisiting favourites or finishing off things that I'm already in the middle of. So with that out of the way, let's go into the books. This first book does not relate to what I just said at all, don't worry. I believe she is a very good person, but the first book we're going to be reading in this 24-hour readathon is The Poppy War, and I am honestly so excited to get this book read today. This is the first one we're going to start out with, and I have recently read Yellowface and Babel, and I have loved them both. Incredible books, and my friends say this series is like one of the best things they've ever read, so I have no doubts in my mind that I am going to thoroughly enjoy this book today. I did start it years and years ago and I never finished it, so that's what these are, but I'm going to take those out and we're going to start a fresh annotation, and that is why I am starting with this one. That is why this is today's main priority, because it is like a 500 odd page book, but I'm also going to be annotating it, so I am more than prepared for this book to take me a lot longer to get through than, you know, another book of this size would, especially because of the contents of the book as well. I'm aware that it's a bit of a heavier one, and it's obviously fantasy-esque, so this is our main priority, but obviously I'm hoping to get this done today, no problems. It's 12, so we're obviously probably going to read for about 12 hours today, and then about 6 tomorrow. So I'm hoping to get this one done today. And then the next book I think I'm going to pick up is Lights Out. This is like a dark romance, but I've just seen some really funny scenes like taken from the book and or like the audiobook and put on TikTok, and it just sounds so silly and goofy, and I just think it would be a really fun time, but without being too light and fluffy, because I'm in such like a heavier high fantasy mood that I was worried like a cute fluffy romance wouldn't be something that I'm super interested in right now. So I thought Lights Out, like a darker romance, could fit what I need quite well, while also being a nice palette cleanser in between fantasies and whatnot. I know this one is also 500 pages, so I imagine this one will take me a little bit too, but this will probably be the book I go into this evening, just to wind down, question mark, in the evenings. But yes, Lights Out, very excited. And then what I said earlier kind of pertains to this book. We're going to be reading Harry Potter. Me and my friends like to say that it's autobiographical, so do with that what you will. I am reading this primarily for my uni course, my children's lit module, but I was also wanting to reread this one myself. I will admit, I grew up with the Harry Potter books and movies, and it was my whole childhood, and sometimes it's really nice to just go back and revisit your old favourites. So that's kind of what this is, but obviously it's an autobiography. So. And then the next two, it's kind of one or the other. I don't think I'm going to be able to get round to both of them. I imagine I'll be able to finish about 3.5 books in this readathon. That is my hopes, just because I'm annotating The Poppy War. Basically, I imagine it's going to take me a few extra hours, so I feel like I'm not going to be able to do as much, so I imagine I'll be able to get to around 4 as opposed to my regular kind of 6. So yeah, this one's kind of either or, but I'll show you my options. So first we have The Last Scholar of the Fairy Door, and this is just like a dark academia fantasy set in like either during or post World War One England. I think during, but it's kind of like a fantastical twist on that. There's like a fairy attack on the battlefield of World War One, so you know it's not like an exact history. It's kind of interwoven into it, and I've heard like good things. I don't think this is anyone's like all-time favorite book, but I think people have enjoyed it, so I'm very intrigued by this one. Or we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, again another war book. It's not typically something I ever pick up ever, so it just is a coincidence that they're both war books. But this one follows two sisters during World War II, and I'm sure you have seen this all over the internet. People are really enjoying this one. It's meant to be very sad, which is slightly off-putting, just for a readathon sense. You know, you don't want to be too depressed, but obviously the Poppy War is also extremely depressing, which I think makes this even less, like, you know, just a little bit more, ooh, should I? But yeah, this is one option, and if I read this, I think I would annotate this one, but kind of just like a one tab colour, more just going in with the pen type annotations, which is always fun. And you know, I'm not opposed to only having half of one of these read, so we'll just have to see how that goes, to be honest. But these are our options, so I'll let you know which one we pick up of these. And then two honorary mentions. I have the audiobook of City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. It's over there. I can't be bothered to grab it, but I'm just going to listen to that when I have to make dinner this evening and have my lunch, make my lunch in like a couple hours. I'm probably not going to read more than like 50 pages of that book, and that is completely fine. It's just there to fill that time with a little bit of reading, which is always good. And then this evening, I probably will be on FaceTime with my friends, so it depends if they want to or not, but we are doing a Throne of Glass reread. Again, pertains to my earlier message. We grew up with these books. They are our favourites. I already own all of the books. My friends have gotten copies through free ways, and we are just revisiting, you know, some of our favourite teen life books, if that makes sense. So we are rereading The Assassin's Blade, and they might want to read half of one of the short stories in that tonight as well. So those are all of our reading options. I'm hoping to get to around 3 or 4 books today in their entirety. And yeah, it's actually 12 o'clock. I think I'm maybe going to push the start time back to 1:15, just so we have a solid thing to stand on, because I need to set up an annotation key for this, and I also want to make myself a coffee because someone, not naming names, Winifred, woke me up at 6:30 this morning, so I'm already quite tired, so I need some caffeine, and then we can get ourselves into this book. But I digress. Let's just get started with the reading, because that is what this video is all about. And I'm not ready, but I also cannot wait. I cannot wait. Let's just get started. So we are now about 2.5 hours into the readathon. I just had a break for lunch, so I haven't obviously read for the whole time. I just read. I watched TikToks during my lunch break. But I have been reading a whole bunch of the Poppy War, and we are now on page 145, which is roughly a quarter of the way through, and it is honestly really good. It's so interesting. My attention and intrigue has not dropped the entire way through. I have been intrigued, and I really just want to know where the rest of the book is going. I feel like a lot of this is still just set up, really, for what's to come, and especially for the next 2 books. But it has been so interesting. We're getting to know Rin mainly, but also Kate and other various side characters. I'm really enjoying the presence of Jiang, and I really hope things go further with this character specifically. I just think it would be interesting, but I'm not 100% certain that that is how it's gonna go. I don't know. I hate how my fringe looks today. Anyway, yeah, I don't have like too many thoughts, because it's really just setting everything up. You know, she did her exam, and then she got into the like really prestigious school, and she's just basically training as much as she can while she's there, because she's at such a disadvantage because of her background, and people are definitely judging her based on that as well, which is a very prevalent theme thus far. And I have been annotating, if you can see. I don't know if you can see any of my annotations, but I have been annotating a whole bunch. So yeah, it's 2:51, so in 30 minutes we will be 3 hours into the readathon, and I'm honestly just going to keep reading this. As predicted, it's taking me longer because I'm annotating it so much, so I imagine I'll finish this around 7:38, which is ages away. Hopefully I can speed up my reading speed near the end of the book as things start to pick up even more. But I'm just going to sit here and read a whole bunch more of this, and we will see what progress can be made. Yeah, I just wanted to do a really quick update because we have made significant progress in the Poppy War. So, we are 6.5 hours into the readathon, I believe. So this is honestly taking me about double my normal reading pace. I keep getting a little bit distracted and of course annotating, but I am having so much fun with this book. Not at one point have I felt like, oh, if I wasn't doing a readathon, I probably would have put this down. Like, this is just incredible. So we're on page 370. So we are quite a way past halfway now, and it is just honestly incredible. Also, don't mind my French has gone really flat, but yeah, over halfway and things are really picking up. Like, so much is happening, so much is being learnt, so much is being said, and I don't quite know what it means yet. And I honestly I have no idea where the rest of this book is gonna go, but I am here for the ride. I'm hoping to finish it within the next 2 hours. I would hope. I have under 200 pages left, so hopefully that is doable. Yeah, wait, like 150-ish pages left, I want to say. I can't be bothered to do the maths, but somewhere around there. And yeah, I can't even really say what's happening, but honestly, like 20 different things have just happened. And one thing with Miss Rebecca F. Kwong is that everything is intentional. Everything has intent and purpose. So just like every action that's being made, every tiny little comment that's being made, I am just questioning it and I'm storing it away for later. Not necessarily for this book, but for the other 2 books as well. I'm just trying to really pay attention to everything, which is why probably I'm getting through it a little bit slower as well, because I'm really questioning a lot of it. But I'm having so much fun. Even though it's really heavy, it's such an easy read, I would say. I don't know, it's weird because obviously it's taking me so much longer than a usual book would, but it's also so easy and yeah, just incredible. So we're probably going to be finishing this one up, and then I will be having some dinner, and then I reckon we may be able to get one more book done today. I'm a little bit worried that we're only going to be able to do 3 books in this readathon, because I thought I would have finished this by now, but that is fine. No worries, we can always add on a few more hours tomorrow if we feel like we want to keep going, because I do leave my timer running when I sleep. So if we want to add on a few more hours to get a bit more reading done tomorrow, that is a-okay. We will just see how we are going with that. But I'm going to sit here and finish up the Poppy War now. Around 150 pages left, and yeah, I'm just going to go for it and see what we can get done, but thoroughly enjoying myself. I am back with a very brief update, but it is 12:11, so we officially have 12 hours and 12 minutes left of the readathon, and I have finished the Poppy War. It's over there, so I'm not going to show it to you, but I did finish the Poppy War at about 8 something p.m, and then I've had some dinner, and I took a very short break aside from the dinner, and then we started Lights Out, and I am already 48% of the way through this one, so I have around 3 hours left, but probably more like 2.5. This is the stupidest thing I have ever read, but it is so much fun. Like, I'm honestly, I feel like I'm flying through it. I mean, I feel like I read half the book in like 2.5 hours. So I'm definitely having a lot of fun with that. Sorry, I'm actually trying to check. $9:56, yeah. In about two-ish hours, I've read half of the book. Yeah, it's just so silly. I don't even want to like give you guys the synopsis because it's so stupid. But it's basically a dark romance about this girl and this masked guy, and she follows him on TikTok. So stupid. She like follows him on TikTok, but he like knows her in his personal life, and he starts like interacting with her in real life, basically. I'll leave it there. But that's where I'm at with this one. I'll hopefully read a little bit more of it tonight. I'll hopefully read a little bit more of it tonight before I go to bed. My lipstick has all come off from my dinner. Sorry if I look stupid. But we are also waking up for the F1 in the morning. It is from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. It is 12:14. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. I have mentally prepared myself to not get much sleep and be able to catch up in the afternoon with like a little nap and a Red Bull. So, we'll see. But my current plan is to read a little bit more of this before I go to bed tonight, and then when I wake up for the F1, I'm gonna just try and finish it throughout the race or just after the race, and then we can try and get another book done. Good morning, everyone. I'm finally going to talk to you. I showed you a little bit of what I was doing this morning. I woke up at about 8 a.m. Didn't manage to actually stay awake for the F1. I saw signs go into a wall on lap 4, and that's it. That's all I saw. So we've watched the highlights now. I know what happened. But we have 1 hour and 37 minutes left on the timer. So we only have time for one more book because I have finished Lights Out. This was ridiculous. This was like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever read, but it was so entertaining. Like, I actually was laughing and like had tears in my eyes at one point this morning. Like, it was really funny. And I did see that she has another book, so I am gonna look into who that one is about just in case I want to pick up that one as well. But we have finished it. I'll give all of my big final thoughts in the outro for this video because I don't want to let too much of the timer tick away. We basically have an hour and a half left. So we're going to pick up the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And I think because I didn't pause when I slept or when I ate or anything, I'm just going to kind of go until I have finished this book, and then we'll call the readathon done. Because I reckon I'll be able to get just over half done in an hour and a half because it's Harry Potter. And then we'll just finish it up and we'll call it there. I did want to get more done for this readathon, but Lights Out was 500 pages. The Poppy War was 530 odd pages. You know, they're big books. We've still done a lot of reading. It's just less. The cats are fighting. Less quantity of books. Anyway, I don't want to let any more of this timer get away from me, so I'm going to sit here and start Harry Potter, which could not be more polar opposite from this book. And yeah, we'll just see. Well, I'm going to finish it, but we'll see how we get on with this one in the time that we have left. Half and half. My dad's a muggle. Mam's a witch. Bit of a nasty shock for him when he found out. I just wanted to quickly come. Where is my. my bookmark. I just wanted to really quickly come in and let you guys know where I got up to because the timer just went off. Obviously I'm going to continue reading and finish this up because honestly I don't have much left, especially considering how quickly I read what I have read. But we are now on page 200 of The Philosopher's Stone, and you know, he's at Hogwarts, he's making his friends, and we are in the first Quidditch match, which is just so fun. It's just so nostalgic to read these stories or watch the movies because it's literally just what I grew up with as a kid. So I'm just having a lot of fun. Anytime there's like a quote or like some speech that was in the movie, I like quoting it. I just can't stop. I'm basically recreating the movie at this point as I'm reading the book, but it has been super fun so far. So I only have about 125 pages left. So we're just going to sit and finish that now. I honestly think it will take me about an hour. And then we will be done with the readathon, which is very exciting. So I'm going to sit and finish this one up. And then at some point we can recap everything we managed to get done in this readathon. Okay, hello everyone. We are back to wrap up this vlog. Am I too zoomed in? I fear I was just a little bit too zoomed in. This is better. So we're going to wrap up the readathon that we did. Honestly, this is the lowest quantity readathon I think I've ever done in terms of number of books. However, these are probably, like, in terms of the length of two of the books, they're probably the longest I've ever attempted to read in a 24-hour readathon. So I feel like it's all, you know, kind of relative, I will say, but it was still a phenomenal readathon. I had a great time and I still feel very accomplished with what I managed to get done. So we're going to really quickly go through everything that we read and just give our thoughts and feelings and all of that stuff. So, of course, and I will preface this by saying the best book of the readathon, potentially of the year, maybe ever. one of. As a reader, I feel like you cannot categorically say that about just one book. However, one of the best books I think I will ever read and have ever read in my life, The Poppy War. The way R.F. Kuang just molds and shapes these words and the way that her brain works and the way she puts that down onto paper is just admirable, I think, is the way I would say that. I think she's so incredible with what she does. I think just like the intention behind her words is just, it was so good. If you couldn't tell, I gave this one a 5 stars. I mean, I really, like, how could I not? It was just, it was so many things. You know, you open up with the Ren, and she is the adopted daughter of this family who run like an opium selling business, kind of like dodgy on the side, underground type opium business. And basically there was the Poppy Wars. This book takes place after the second Poppy War, and she was orphaned by the war, so she's with this family, and they try to marry her off to this really gross old man, and she says, give me an opportunity to study, to try and get into the most prestigious school in the country. She's like, give an opportunity for me to do that. If I get in, I go. If I don't, I'll marry the man. So she spends 2 years studying for this crazy exam that's 12 hours long, and she gets in to the uni college school thing. And it's like a war college, but there's different things that you can, like, I don't know, like major in? I don't know the word that they use, actually. Different things you can pledge for. So there's like the combat, there's the strategy, or there's like the law of the world, different things like that. But it is a war college first and foremost, you know, and it's kind of going through her trials and tribulations within that war college, and kind of the colorism that she experiences there, and just like, oh my god, so many other things. Probably a bit of sexism as well, and just, yeah, so many things, and it's really horrific. And then it gets 50 times worse in terms of like the difficult things we're dealing with within the story, and we're basically on the cusp going into and then kind of in a third war. And yeah, it says it in the blood that the third Poppy War is a spark away. You know, I don't even know if we're fully wrapped up with that by the end of this book. I don't know. It's just really heavy, and I will say, read the trigger warnings if you are unaware. I knew some of the heavier hitting stuff going into this book because my friends have read it. If you don't know, I would look up trigger warnings, because even for me, I don't really get triggered by anything in books. I can kind of read anything. I still read this. I can read anything. But even reading near the end of this book, it was kind of like you just read it and even your brain is just silent. And you're just reading the words and you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, what on earth? So, bear that in mind. Read your trigger warnings if you get triggered, please. But also, please read this. I think it's so important. I think it can tell you a lot about the modern world as well. This is heavily inspired by the Sino-Japanese war. But honestly, you can see it in so many corners of the world today, some elements of it. So just, yeah, it's very heavy, bear that in mind. But again, like I say, one of the best things I've ever read in my entire existence. I loved it. Onto something a lot lighter, but also dark still, but not anywhere near the Poppy War dark. Guys, it's dark, okay? But then I read Lights Out. This was silly, it was goofy, it was ridiculous, it was so stupid. However, because there is a however here, guys, there is a however, it was really fun. I really enjoyed my time reading it. I do think it's one that you can't take it too seriously, but it is really fun, and it's just, yeah. Second book comes out in June, July. Will I be reading it? Yes, I will. I think that's all we need to know. But you're following this masked man and this girl who loves masked men on TikTok, and that's literally all you need to know. I gave it 3.5, 3.75, I don't remember, I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, it was just a silly, goofy time, you know, a nice palette cleanser after the Poppy War, for sure, but nothing crazy, and I definitely think it will not be many people's cups of tea. But he was so funny, like, guys, I was actually laughing out loud at some of the stuff that was being said in Lights Out, and I don't do that very often. There was also some other side characters, really got me, had like tears in my eyes. There was some funny stuff in there, I will say that, but yeah, it was nothing to be taken serious, I don't think. And then finally, I did add on an extra hour in the end to finish up this book, but like I said, I slept for 7 hours, so if I paused it when I slept, we could have got another like 2 books in, I reckon. But I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I feel my 12-year-old self coming back to life. She is being revived within my body. This was so fun. I was quoting half of the book. I was just having fun. It's made me want to watch the movies. We've gone back to the game, the Lego game. Just so fun. I'm not going to sit here and give you the plot of this. I feel like we should all know it by now. If you don't know the plot of Harry Potter, please find some way to pirate it and read it. I shouldn't say that online, actually. Please find it secondhand somewhere. Anyway, I think, yeah, it's just so fun, and it honestly heals my inner child every time I remotely touch anything to do with Harry Potter. And it was just so much fun. So, yeah, I am really glad I finished this one as well. But those are the 3 books we managed to get done in this readathon. I don't know if they could be more polarizing. They are such different books. Every single one of them are completely different to the next, and I think that's what kept it fun and refreshing and different for the reading experience. But I had so much fun with all of these, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not actually going to make any promises about being back soon in this video because I really can't stick to it at the moment. I'm feeling really overwhelmed with how much I have to get done these days. So I'm not going to say that, but hopefully I will see you guys sooner rather than later in my next video, which will be an exciting one. I'll let you into a sneak peek. I am already dressed to go to the midnight release for Sunrise on the Reaping in a few hours. In about 4 hours. What time is it? 3.5, 4 hours. I will be leaving for that. But that's a little sneak peek on what you can expect in one of my next videos. I'm kind of filming two. So we'll see which one comes out next, but that's what you can expect. So I will see you guys hopefully there, and hopefully in not too long of a time span. Bye!